of Colorado. Welcome back to another episode of Nuggets and Brews, where we talk Denver Nuggets and we get to drink local Colorado craft beer. I am your host, Misa. I am super happy that you're with me tonight. And if you're watching this and you've been watching some of my first episodes and recent episodes, thank you so much. For my recent subscribers on YouTube, thank you so much. For all my recent Instagram followers and TikTok followers and Twitter followers. I know there's few of you, but thank you so much. We all kind of have to start somewhere, and all you loyal people who've started out with me, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to just looking at me and listening to me talk about random Nuggets nonsense, which to me it's not nonsense. I love the Nuggets, and I'm sure you do too, because you're obviously following me. So anyways, let's get into tonight's episode. I am filming this on Friday night, but I do have a job, so after Wednesday I had to go to work on Thursday, and then Thursday I just didn't have any time, and so today it's finally the time I get to talk about it. And I'm happy that the Nuggets have this 4-day break between the Warriors game and Sunday, which is when they play the Rockets. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take the game in, I'm just gonna analyze it, I'm gonna rewatch it, and I'm gonna take some notes. That way I can actually have something legitimate to talk about, and kind of give you some thoughts and what I thought about the game and stuff like that. But first and foremost, as you know, this is Nuggets and Brews. So before we get into segment one, and in which is going to be, we're just going to kind of do a little bit of recap of the Nuggets and Warriors game, which was for it being a somewhat sloppy game and being kind of mistake driven game, the ending was had me at the edge of my seat. So I was at the game, it was crazy ending. So we're gonna get into all of that in segment one, and in segment two we're just gonna look forward to the Rockets game on Sunday afternoon, or Sunday evening. They play at 5:00, so we're gonna get into that, and obviously make my predictions for that game as well. So anyways, let's get into tonight's episode. Again, thank you so much for joining me. So tonight's beer is it's from Westbound and Down, which I believe their brewery is in Idaho Springs, but they also have two other tap rooms. One's in Lafayette, and they have a smaller tasting room in downtown Denver, I think in the Milk Market. So definitely check them out. What we're having today is a coffee porter. So it's from their Sweet Bloom Coffee Roasters series. So we're gonna open it up. We're gonna try it. Show you, I guess, tell you what it tastes like, and hopefully you go out and buy it, because hopefully it's good. And I like coffee porters. It's kind of one of my second favorite beers. Aside from obviously IPAs, but I try and drink porters throughout the winter, because I don't know, there's just something because they're so frothy and they're just so filling. But obviously a coffee beer is it's excellent. So anyways, let me see if it'll zoom in here. All right, so let's open it up. Let's do a little bit of ASMR. So let's do this. My favorite part is the snap that when it first just cracks open. It's my favorite. Oh, but you just love that sound. My goodness. All right, let's pour it. It's gonna be a coffee porter, so it's gonna be dark. So don't expect any beautiful color, but do expect this nice, rich, dark color. I'm gonna pour it a little harder to get a little bit of bubbles, but this is kind of thick already. It already looks pretty thick, and I'm sorry I'm wearing black, so it's hard to see, but it's a really dark, rich beer, and it smells fantastic. I mean, it smells like what a coffee porter should taste like, which is super aromatic, toasted notes, beautiful frothy foam at the top. I should have poured it a little harder, but you know what? This is perfect. It smells fantastic. So again, Westbound and Down brewing company. Make sure to buy it at your local liquor store. I found this one at Molly's. Again, thank you, Molly's, for helping me find this. They're not sponsoring me in any way, neither is Westbound and Down, but you know what? I like to support local, and Molly's or Westbound and Down. If you're watching, and you want to give me some free beer, or if you want me to stop by your tap room, give me some beer that you might not have at other stores. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I would love to go down to your brewery. So, anyways, let's taste this. Let's see how it does. Let's see how it tastes. Let's get a little closer to the microphone. Whoa. Ooh. Yo. Oh my god. Colorado has like some of the best breweries. I'm telling you, like I've been to Seattle, Portland, and like yeah, their beer scene is really good, but like every time I come back home, I'm like, it just doesn't compare. Like we just have like such a great brewery scene. Like it's phenomenal. But that's just me being biased. I'm from Colorado. What do you expect? Like, oh yeah, Seattle's beer is better. No, I'm gonna always say Colorado beer is always better. So I'm sorry. I'm just being a hometowner here. Anyways, excellent beer. My goodness, good toasted notes. Definitely tastes the coffee. Like immediately tastes like coffee. So if you love coffee, but you like that nice, rich, like toastedness and like just it's almost like a little smoky as well. So freaking fantastic beer. All right, so let's get into the Warriors and Nuggets game. What a freaking game that was. A few takes away. First of all, obviously Jamal Murray wasn't playing. He's there. The Nuggets are resting him. I think he's got a right hamstring like tightness or something like that. So you know what, Murray, go ahead and rest. We need you for the playoffs. Like you're a playoff player. Get ready for the playoffs. Don't worry about November. Don't worry about part of December. Just get ready. Do your thing. Rest up. Watch Nikola Jokic from the bench. Like just do you. Okay. Anyways, we all knew he wasn't gonna play, so we were like, all right, everybody else has to step up. But also from the Warriors side, Draymond Green wasn't playing, so it kind of balanced things out because from one end, you're missing a scoring piece, and from the Warrior side, you were missing a facilitating, player. So Draymond Green tends to do a lot of facilitating. He tends to do he doesn't necessarily run the offense, but in a lot of possessions, he does tend to run the offense. So kind of even there. Anyways, both teams were kind of coming in a little tired. I mean, both teams had played quite a lot of games up to the meeting, up to the match. And so you're thinking, okay, like both teams are now champions. I mean, they're both champions, and they both carry that championship pedigree. And for me, championship pedigree is like obviously effort, execution, and clutchness. And so it was going to be a battle of both teams are tired. Both teams are missing their two of their star players. What team is gonna dig in deep into their championship pedigree and get that win and execute late, be clutch? And to my surprise, both teams didn't have any of that because both teams ended up not being clutch, making mistakes down the end, towards the end, and and I mean, effort was there. At least effort was always going to be there, especially from both these teams. But the execution and the clutchness just wasn't there for both teams, and rightfully so. I mean, both the teams were tired, but my goodness, what a crazy ending it was to that game. I took a bunch of notes for the first and second quarter, but overall, my biggest takeaway from the first half is, first quarter, the Nuggets get a 10-point lead. The starters were rolling, as they always are. They got a big lead, and then the bench comes in, and you're like, okay, bench, don't give up the lead. Don't give up the lead, and don't let Golden State get back into it. And the bench just had an awful night tonight. Like, nobody was scoring, nobody was being aggressive, and they were just turning the ball over, or just not even turning the ball over. They were just missing shots, and they were just letting Golden State scoring them in transition. So it immediately, the lead went from like 10 to 4. I mean, they ended the first quarter. It was like 20-21, 26-21 or something like that. And so you're thinking, oh my God, here we go, because it had been a while since the bench actually played kind of bad. Like, we've had great samples of them, like playing really good defense, really active defense, and they were just scoring off of deflections and running, getting out and running, and we just didn't see any of that from the bench. And so, second quarter, it was still kind of back and forth. Obviously starters come back in for that second quarter, and so it was a lot of back and forth. But at least the Nuggets didn't give up the lead. At halftime it was like 52-47. Let me see if I actually got my notes here. 43-47, so I was close. And so Nuggets still had the lead, but third quarter starts, and in that third quarter, Golden State scores 31 points to the Nuggets 23, which, credit Golden State. I mean, they came out, and even though they could have just, they were like, you know what, they could have easily just, like, not even folded. That's like the wrong way to say it. They could just easily just be like, you know what, we just don't have it, like, F it, right? No, don't expect Golden State to ever be like that. Like, no, this team is always going to be in it, and they're always going to play hard. And in my last podcast, I was like, well, the Nuggets have size, and they should take advantage. Well, the Nuggets did take advantage of that, but, like, the Nuggets were just kind of sloppy, especially in that third quarter. And so towards the end, and at the end of the third quarter, with a couple of free throws, the Warriors take the lead, 78-76, and you're thinking, oh, crap. Here comes the Warriors here. They're going to just spoil tonight. And, of course, it came down to a fourth quarter game. And that's kind of what I expected. It was like it was going to come down to a fourth quarter game, because Golden State is always going to play you tough. It doesn't matter if their players are smaller than you are. They just execute at such a high level. They're going to make you play defense. They're going to make you make mistakes on defense. And that's exactly what they did. Not only against the starters, but they mostly did a lot of their damage against the Nuggets bench, because the Warriors bench actually scored, like, relatively quickly. Like, Kuminga had 10 points. I think it was Moses Moody. Is that what his name? Another 10 points. Chris Paul, 9 points. So, our bench, no player even got close to double figures. So, kudos to the Warriors bench. I mean, their bench has been playing a little longer and cohesively than the Nuggets bench, because the Nuggets bench is kind of relatively new, aside from Christian Brown only having like 1 year under the Nuggets. Reggie Jackson had to play with the starters, so you saw the difference in, like, what a championship bench looks like, as opposed to, like, a championship bench that is kind of retooled. So, man, again, it came down to the fourth quarter, and into the fourth quarter we go. We're down 2, and all of a sudden Golden State is up 4 or 5 points with, like, really relatively early in the fourth quarter. But where the action really took place was that last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, where it was just, like, kind of really back and forth, because throughout the entire game, it was just like, it was really a back and forth game. There was several lead changes here and there, and it was just like one of those games where it just kind of had you at the edge of your seat, because one team made a mistake, the other team capitalized, and then the other team made a mistake, and then the Warriors capitalized. And so it was just back and forth with several lead changes, like, under 6 minutes. And so you're kind of thinking, like, we really miss Murray at this point, and you kind of needed Murray in this game quite a lot, particularly under the last 3 minutes, because Nuggets are really used to going to that two-man game between Jokic and Murray whenever things are kind of going well. And so when things weren't going well, it was a lot of Jokic having to facilitate, having to go in the post, having to score. And so, under 3 minutes, Jokic gets fouled in transition by Wiggins. He makes 2 free throws, and so we're up 101-98. And so things are starting to look good, especially after a Reggie Jackson layup from, like, a quick cut, and Jokic finds him for a quick layup. And so you're like, okay, 103-98, I think we're looking good. We're starting to kind of execute. But no, don't count out Golden State. And immediately Klay gets fouled. He makes both his free throws. It's 100-103. But then, like, under 2 minutes, or even with, like, it was like 51 seconds left, that's when you kind of saw a little bit of, like, hecticness from both teams, because both teams were tired. They had played quite a lot of minutes at this point. So both teams are pretty tired, and so under with like under 51 seconds left, KCP gets fouled. He makes both his free throws, so it's like 105, 102, and you're like, okay, a little bit of breathing room. I think we got this. But then Jokic, we go down the court again with like 20 some seconds left. Jokic like decides to try and do this wild pass across the court to Michael Porter, who was in the corner. Curry intercepts it, goes down the court, and fakes out both Jackson and Michael Porter into like the top of the key, throws a three, and you're just like, oh my god, like this can't be happening right now. Like we were about to win this game, close it out, and here comes Curry, just hits a freaking three in your face. Stephen Curry, my god, dude, like every time the Nuggets play the Golden State Warriors, like Curry for me is like Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? Like just always effing you up all the time. The dude is one of the greatest shooters of all time. Like that was terrible defense at that point. And so, but also it was like a great shake off move because Curry kind of got trapped by Jackson and Porter. Curry just kind of spins off and just hits that three with like 17 seconds left, and so immediately, obviously after the inbound, Jokic gets immediately fouled because there's like 17 seconds left. And Jokic misses both his free throws. And you're just like, oh my God, this is like, I'm in this, everyone's like super nervous at this point. I'm just like, oh my God, this can't be happening right now. Because you're up two. These guys can quickly tie it or get a three for the win. And we've kind of seen that before, especially in the playoffs. We've seen that from Golden State. So, flashbacks start coming back and you're like, this can't be happening. So anyways, I have my notes here. Let me go back on my notes because it was like such a wild sequence. And so, Golden State gets ready to inbound, and so on their first try they have to take a timeout. And the Nuggets play good defense, and so Golden State has to take him out. So they take their timeout. Golden State runs their sequence again. They inbound the ball to Curry, who goes down the left side, gets a nice driving lane, but does a left-handed layup, and he puts it up super high, and he gets by. He initially gets by KCP. KCP's kind of trailing, and then Jokic, starts to help on that side, and for whatever reason, like Curry puts it up extra high because he thinks Jokic is gonna actually contest, and he doesn't. He kind of like fakes it, and so Curry puts it up too high. It comes off the rim. And he misses it. Like he just completely misses it with like 3.5 seconds left. And then obviously Jackson, he gets the rebound, he gets fouled, and we're like, okay, Jackson, just put it away. 2 free throws. How hard can it be? He only makes 1. He makes his first free throw, and you're like, why? And so you're like, no, this team can still, I don't know. I can't remember if Golden State had a timeout because they could have easily, I don't know if they had a timeout at that point because they could have easily called a timeout after Chris Paul rebounded off Reggie Jackson's second miss. So Reggie Jackson misses it. Chris Paul grabs the rebound and then he immediately throws it forward towards Klay Thompson, who's kind of running down the lane, kind of running down the sideline, and it was just like too far of a pass and Klay kind of fumbles it and just ends up missing, and we're all like, whew, whew. Oh my God, what a crazy sequence that was. But Nuggets escape, man. They escape a really close one, a close game where both teams just kind of gave it. They really kind of gave it their all in that last 3 minutes because it was just too close for comfort. But that's kind of what you expect out of these games because a lot of the wins that the Nuggets have had, which was like the past 5 games, the Nuggets have won 4, and out of those 4 out of those 5, I think the Nuggets have won with I think it was like 5 points or less. So all these games have always been close, and this one was no exception. So yeah. just just another resilient win by the Nuggets, and but also a little bit lucky as well. And so sometimes it helps to be lucky, and but also Golden State just they also missed their opportunities. But again, at the end of the game, there's a lot of people complaining about this goaltending, which now that I looked at the different angles, Gordon did obviously goaltend a Steph Curry like layup, but that was like earlier in the game, and I don't think it just would have mattered given that you lost by 3. But also that was such a quick play that of course the refs were going to miss it because it was just like so fast, like it just looked like a regular block in real time. So obviously when you slow down, you're like, okay, that was a block, I mean that was a goaltend. But I digress. It doesn't matter. The Nuggets won the game, and they won it in just this ugly fashion. And but sometimes you have to win ugly, and that's the type of games that you have to win in the playoffs. You have to win ugly, and the Nuggets have been able to win ugly games. They won ugly games last year. They won ugly games in the playoffs. They just know how to win these type of games, and obviously it would have been absolutely this. It would have been so crappy to have lost that game because you had it, and luckily you closed it out. So, man, what a crazy game. But again, it's always good to get a win over the Warriors because you know what? We Nuggets fans, we're still, I wouldn't say we're still salty about losing to Golden State and that 2021-22 season when Golden State beat us in that series 4-1 in that first round. So wouldn't say that we're salty still, but it still hurts because Jamal Murray went down that year, and all that offseason, we were like, if Murray never got hurt, we would have won that series, or it would have been more interesting at least, or it would have at least gone to 7 games, in my opinion. But the past, and we're living in the present right now. But it still kind of hurts, and that's kind of where that a little bit of that hatred, and not hatred, but a little bit of that dislike for Golden State comes in, where these teams clearly don't like each other, but they definitely respect each other. I myself, I respect the heck out of Golden State because they just play such a fast style, and they shoot lights out, and they just make you play defense, but they also make you play offense because you have to keep up with Golden State. Like once Golden State gets rolling, you have to match that. And unfortunately tonight, Curry only tonight. Fortunately, Wednesday night, Curry, I think he only scored 23 points. Klay Thompson only 15. Wiggins only 11, which was like super surprising. But again, the bench kept him in there. Kuminga with 10, Moody with 10, and Chris Paul with 9. So that's some solid contributions from your bench. So looking forward, let's hope the Nuggets bench, kind of learns from this game because they did not pass this test whatsoever. They failed. They failed this exam. So hopefully they learn from this. And these young guys, they watch the film and they say, okay, well, this is where I made the mistakes, and this and that. So, but it's one game. Good thing we won it, and good thing we won it at home because you want to protect home court. All right, well, yeah, Nuggets win 108-105. Great win. And again, Jokic, my goodness. What would the Nuggets would be nobody without Jokic. My goodness, he 35 points, 5 assists, 13 rebounds. He did have to work a little extra because he was 14 from 25 from the field, and he missed four free throws, 2 of them super crucial down the stretch. So, but then again, this type of game is like a B- game from Jokic, but this type of game would be like a career night for like anybody else. So still dominant, still an amazing player. There's not much to complain about Jokic other than just make your free throws at the end of the game. That's all. But you know what? Homeboy played like 30 plus minutes, so Homeboy was tired towards the end. So I can see why he missed those free throws at the end, because for a big man, his condition is phenomenal. And you can again he was probably tired, so that's probably why he missed those free throws. But you know what? He's still amazing. Not much to complain about Jokic. Reggie Jackson, 20 points, dished out 6 assists. And I don't think he had many turnovers. I think he might have not turned over the ball at all. So that's also great to see from Reggie Jackson, who tends to get a little dribble happy. He gets a little dribble happy, which, it's fine. It's totally fine. Michael Porter had a rough go, but he still scored 17 and still continues to rebound well. I think he had about nine rebounds or something like that. 8 rebounds, my bad. And Gordon again with another double. He's just Mr. Nugget, Mr. Solid. 14 points, 11 rebounds, and then KCP scoring another 10. So every starter in double figures. That's exactly what you want. But now let's just make sure the bench contributes a little extra. Here coming up against the Rockets. All right. Well, anyways, it concludes segment 1. Thank you so much for listening to my ramblings. And I'm going to continue drinking this beer. I'm going to take a quick break. Hopefully this beer isn't gone by then, because I still have because I want to preview the Rockets, and I want to make sure I'm not slurring and I'm actually making sense. So anyways, you're watching Nuggets and Brews. My name is Misa, and I'll see you back in a few. What is up, Colorado? Welcome back to Nuggets and Brews, where we talk Denver Nuggets and we get to sip on local Colorado craft beer. All right, so in this second segment, I want to do a quick preview of Nuggets are visiting the Houston Rockets on Sunday evening. And I just kind of want to go over predictions and kind of what to expect. This is going to be the first game that Uncle Jeff is going to be playing against the Nuggets. He did leave in free agency to join the Rockets, and I think he got more money than what the Nuggets were offering, so good for him. But you know what? We still have to play a game, and I think the Nuggets are going to win this one. It's a little interesting, actually. The Rockets are just coming off a win against the Pelicans. And this was actually a game for the in-season tournament, or as I like to call it, the NBA East. And so Rockets are 5-3, which is kind of surprising. Good start for them. They have a really good young core with Jalen Green. I forget his center name, Sengun, Alperen Sengun. So homeboy is actually he's a big dude. He's 6'11", 243 pounds. So he's got good size on him. And obviously Fred VanVleet's on this team now, who's he's a pretty solid player. And also Dylan Brooks went from Memphis to the Rockets, which is whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But anyways, it's an interesting team because it's kind of funny. Both the Nuggets and the Rockets, they are both tied for third for points allowed, which at 106. And wow, I was like, really? That's actually kind of surprising. But the Nuggets they have a better points per game at 116 compared to the Rockets, which is like 110 or something like that. I might actually have some stats on that here. So the Rockets score about 111 per game, and the Nuggets score at 116 per game. But again, both teams both allow 106 points. So it should be definitely an interesting game. It's going to be a game of a super veteran team, coming off a championship versus a team that's, in the process of the rebuilding process and, developing their young talent. And they have quite a good young talent. Their starting five, is averaging double figures, with Jalen Green leading the way at 19 points. Their center, Sengun, scoring 18 points a game. And, VanVleet 15, and Dylan Brooks, average of 14. So good solid team. It seems like they're kind of starting to get things going, and so it's going to be a good little matchup for the Nuggets. And but even though I'm predicting a win for the Nuggets, this might come at a loss. But then again, the Nuggets have had more than enough time to rest and practice and kind of allow also Nikola Jokic to get some rest. So Nikola Jokic might have a freaking 40-point piece because they ain't got nobody to really compete against Jokic. It could be just a Jokic 40-point triple-double night because who's gonna stop Jokic? I mean, Sengun's got good size, but he doesn't have. I don't think he's got like. He's not a great defensive player, so. And he's relatively young, so what Jokic has been doing to really young centers this year. Chet Holmgren, barbecue chicken. Who's the other center from the Jazz? I can't remember, but you know what? Nikola Jokic. He's just been making centers look silly for a long time now. So big Jokic night, but also Michael Porter should be able to continue his 20-point plus scoring that we've seen like 3 out of the last 4. But I just expect this Nuggets team to just win, especially against teams like the Rockets, who are just not as seasoned. They just don't have that deepness. They don't have that connectiveness, or that veteran leadership and just overall clutch execution. So who knows? Maybe the Rockets give the Nuggets some trouble and they make it relatively close. But in a close game, I'll put my money on the Nuggets anytime. So look for another Nuggets win. But this is also a great time to kind of scout the Rockets, because we do have to play them again for the in-season tournament. I think in November 24th or something like that. So it'll be a good time to scout them, kind of see how they play. Kind of take some notes on them and stuff like that, and also be able to get something on film for later when if the Nuggets are actually taking the in-season tournament serious, which it seems like they kind of are. I mean, who wouldn't like to win an extra $500,000, right? I know. I can easily. I mean, I'd be happy if I get an extra 50,000. So that would definitely make my year. But anyways, let's get into predictions. I mean, again, I think the Nuggets are gonna win, but I don't think it's gonna be like a crazy blowout or anything like that. I just think the Nuggets they're gonna play like a B- game, as far as like not as far as like they're just playing sloppy or they're just playing bad. I think they're just going to be like, we're just too talented. We don't have to go full 100 speed at you. We don't have to go full 100 effort on you, and we're still going to beat you. So look for the Rockets to really make it a little bit of a game, because they're going to be coming at them. This is going to be a bit of a measuring stick for the Rockets. And the Nuggets is more like they're going to be looking forward to the Clippers. They're coming into Ball Arena on Tuesday night. So let's hope the Nuggets they just don't let it kind of go by the wayside, and actually they utilize this game to kind of get some playing well. But I feel like the Nuggets are just going to play like a B- game, as far as like just you know what, we're just too good, and they still end up getting a win. So anyways, my prediction for tomorrow's game, Sunday evening, Nuggets at Rockets. Nuggets are going to get the win, 112-100. You heard it here first. Nuggets 112, Rockets 100. And that's probably going to come off of a 40-point triple-double by Nikola Jokic, because there's no way nobody stops Nikola Jokic. They just don't have anybody to stop Nikola Jokic. And Nuggets are just too talented. They're too deep. They just play too together, too clutch. They're also just too big, and they're more experienced. They have that championship mentality. They just know how to win on the road. So I'm sorry, Rocket fans. You're gonna get a little bit taste of a little bit of a taste of Sombor Magic, Sombor Shuffle. You're just gonna get the full Jokic experience. So sorry, Rockets. Good luck on Sunday. But anyways, that concludes Nuggets and Brews. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, leave me a comment. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and like this video. But also check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. I post some funny stuff here and there on Twitter. Yeah, just thank you so much for watching Nuggets and Brews. My name is Misa, and until next time, see ya.